Wow. Uh, Marriage. You've sort of been known to have a lot of marriages, multiple marriages. Let's talk about your first, second, and third wife, and then now your latest wife. Can you tell us about that?
Now, okay, marriage is a tricky one for me. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I think I got some of the answers. Uh, I definitely feel at most peace with my current wife. I feel like Asian culture is in my veins. I mean, she's just the apple in my eye. Uh, she doesn't mistreat me, she doesn't talk back to me, and it's not even like a one-sided type of thing where it's like, hey, I'm the guy of the house, and that. It's perfectly fine, because, there's no qualms in our marriage. I mean, being married to plastic surgery, doting foreign supermodels, like my first wife, Martha, it was it was really just draining, high maintenance work for me. I mean, it was day in and day out. It's like she had a schedule on the wall. Like, listen, like just because I'm your trophy wife and you won me over at that skating rink contest for a charity for little girls, and you saw me there, in the crowd, and you spotted me amongst everybody else, and you had the star power to approach me, doesn't mean I'm the lesser one. She kept putting her foot over me and being like, do this, do that, and listen, I'm a feminist, so it's like it's not only is this equal for me, but I'm also militantly above you, and this in our house, the way I see it, I rule things. Listen, we got a schedule. It was always trash. You gotta work out this day. We got a charity meeting on this day. We gotta do a local ball on this day. I'm like, I didn't even know they had balls anymore. It's like, what is this, the 1890s? It's like, it's just day in and day out. Trash, you're eating too much ice cream. And like, give a man a break. But with my current wife, there's nothing. She's like, you want to get up and the first thing you want to do is hit the bottle of Jack? She's like, be my guest. You want to get up in the morning and the first thing you want to do is eat three apple pies? She's like, help yourself. She'd even do it. She'd even encourage me. And let me say, I freaking love it.
Wow, it sounds like a great wife. Um, I want to talk about your movie series, America First, that you made back in the 80s and 90s. It seemed to be there was a lot of themes in that about how, America always winning and defeating the Russian villain guy. I mean, literally every single movie had a main Russian villain, and I kind of even forgot who they all were because they all sort of just blended together. But can you just tell us about like sort of the underlying themes of the movie series America First?
Now, the reason I really love this movie series is because, excuse me, it really speaks to the American people on a personal level. It really just grabs them by the balls, if I may be so bold, and says, listen, you gotta get your act together. Because there's babies out there being killed. There's babies with their brains being squashed out, and we gotta go save those babies. Hence the reason why there's a whole entire scene devoted to that called where my character, Russ, goes out on the Apache helicopter. He's shouting war cries, Operation Save the Babies, because the Russian villain in this, Mr. Evil, forget his name. He very evil, very conniving, as most foreign villains are known to be. It's in their nature. And he comes at me saying, I'm gonna kidnap all the babies in America. And I'm like, dude, how is that even gonna be possible? It's not gonna happen. But he does. And guess what? What does America do? Do we sit back and just watch our babies get kidnapped and potentially be murdered? I mean, it's happening spiritually every day with divorce rates and, men being emasculated through marriages and through alimony. But let's not get into that. But anyway, my character goes back and literally saves all the babies with no hesitation, not a scratch on every baby. Every baby is accounted for, and nothing bad happens. And the reason that is because at the end of the day, America wants to see a fucking winner. America doesn't want to see some loser guy sketching. Oh, what am I gonna do? We're babies. I got you. Oh no, oh no. I'm just gonna go wet the bed again because I'm a baby myself. No, they want to see a fucking real man get in there and fucking and lash that the piece of shit villain apart, lash him apart and rip him apart like Wolverine style, and really get into there and just get all the babies, get them safely on the plane so they can return safely sound to the mothers. And that's what he does. And America wants to see a winner. They want to see somebody at the ball game throw the ball, pitch it, do a home run, and come back home. Okay.
Well, yeah, America definitely does like a winner. And I guess the audiences did too, because it was one of the most successful movie series you ran, aside from Allegro, of course. Speaking of successful movies, I want to talk about another movie you made, and just a really powerful, emotional movie. And, not really as financially successful as some of the other movies, and also it was critically panned pretty much across the board, but you know how critics are, they don't necessarily know what they're talking about. But it's a movie called According to Walter, where you play the friend of a mentally challenged character. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Now, this is one of the few films that I will stand proudly behind, even after years of the critics on, Rotten Tomatoes and Roger Ebert. I don't take them seriously. Honestly, I don't even read their crap. It's like, okay, yeah, you can sit there with a pen and a paper and be all smart, but you don't know what it's like, and I know what it's like. Not just through this acting experience, but I've been at enough, charity events to know what it's like. But anyway, according to Walter, I really love the film. It is a heart wrencher. It really is. It's a tearjerker, and basically, I'm the friend of this character, and I'm trying to help him out. I'm trying to cope with this heartless world, and there's one scene that I really like where my character is telling the mentally challenged gentleman. He says, "Listen, don't anybody ever tell you that you're stupid. Just don't let anybody ever tell you that, okay? And if they do tell you that, don't even believe it, because they're talking out their ass, okay?" And yeah, it just shows. People call it Oscar bait, and I beg to differ. Okay, this movie was not meant to be like vying for Oscar nominee, but I was really hoping with the cloying sentimental music and like the scenes where it shows Walter being, like treated unrealistically unfair by people of authority. And I thought it would get an Oscar if I just put a little bit of those things in there, but unfortunately it didn't get the nomination.
Okay, on to the next film series. We have to talk about the Trashman franchise. What can you tell us about that?
Now, this is sort of when I was moonlighting for my other genre of movies that I started out in the film industry making. Now, I was trying to really get a name for myself in the movie industry, so literally any role that popped up was good, was game, okay? So don't be saying like, hey, it's so low budget, it's so violent. Listen, violence is a big part of our culture in the '80s, and I was really trying to cash in on that whole entire, Stallone type of Rambo. Everybody loves a vengeance story. Remember what I said about winners? They not only that, but they love winners who get back and take back what they, what's theirs. So with the Trash Man, is you got a regular average Joe Trash Man working 40 hours a week, dumped by his girlfriend for another guy, fired by his boss for no good reason, so some younger guy on the rise can take his place. Unacceptable. Excommunicated from his family, and then has to fend for himself on the streets. Okay, and he's kicked out by his landlord, and he has to fend for himself. So it's just natural to want to go back as the trash man. He's it's a rags to riches or a trash to riches story. Really, sort of like a little bit symbolic of my success story, although I may hesitate to say it's that symbolic. But it really is. People love to see stories of this, of somebody getting back what's his, and just offing all these people that have treated him so bad, sort of like in The Crow. They see him just coming back and just laying, just completely just obliterating everybody in his path that wronged him in the past. And it sort of gives a sense of validation to people who do harbor feelings like that. Like, hey, I've been mistreated all my life. Maybe it's healthy to have these feelings. And I will not say necessarily you have to say, like, talk to your doctor about that, but yes, it was a very fun film to shoot, and it did sort of segue my career from what I initially started off with before. And that's actually what led me to my spiritual sabbatical, where I went off to East Asia for 4 years. And I was trying to pursue a minimal type of existence because I really felt that the land really spoke to me, that Asia sort of called me over. And I just I herded mountain goat up in East Asia, in Nepal, in the mountains. And, it was a spiritual experience. I met my wife there, and Asian food is totally dope. What can I say? And let me tell you one thing about India is that the poverty is so abject. The streets are ridden with it. I mean, you walk around, you see people, you see things that you only thought you didn't even exist under these types of conditions. I mean, I saw, like this homeless woman. She was dying in the street, and I really felt for her. She was she didn't have a blanket. She didn't even have any food. And I was like, listen, I looked at myself. I saw it's a chill of dead of night. I've got food on my hand. I've got 3 blankets, and I'm on my way back to home. I'm back to my room, and back to my cozy, properly fire-lit room. And I'm thinking, I could give this blanket to her. I really don't need this extra blanket. And I was sitting there, I was just sort of just staring at her for a good 10 minutes, I think, and I'm just thinking, I could use that blanket to help her out in her need. And I'm just thinking, at the same time, I actually really fucking want this blanket too, and I've got a roommate that might want some, even though even though I could live without it. So some reason, something held on. I was just like, you know what? I'll hold on to the blanket, and I was like, the food, I'm a little bit peckish. Just a little bit. Not right now. But in a few hours, I'll be craving some midnight munchies, and I'll really want to do that food. So I didn't know what to do. I just stared at her for like another 10 minutes. And she was dying. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm in a dilemma. What the hell do I do? And I was like, think, Mr. Steelman. And I was like, should I go home and feel regret this for the rest of my life? Or should I help her out in her time of need? Or should I just catch a train right out of there and just, go to Bollywood and catch, all the hot movies that were coming out at the time, too? I definitely took the fucking third one. And I didn't feel bad about a thing.
Wow. I mean, that is an incredible story. I'm sure that the spirit of that dead woman, that dead homeless woman, is grateful to you. In the underworld right now, she's grateful to you for being true to yourself instead of throwing her a fucking blanket. Great story.
Plus, I see it philosophically as the whole entire dilemma of should I help this person or not. I'm an objectivist. That means I follow Ayn Rand's philosophy of I just mind my own shit and get what I want. Problem?